Hi there. Welcome to Palette University and sort of a weird video. And I know I said at the beginning of quite a few of my videos, but this one's actually kind of weird because it's literally just me asking for your advice. So this video is mostly going to be geared toward some of my other creator type friends, but I also want to get the feedback from all of my wonderful viewers as well. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, at palette_u, which you should. So I put on Twitter probably like Monday, I think, that there wasn't going to be a video this week because I was just, it's the beginning of the semester and I just didn't really have time. But something came up that I wanted to make a video about. So just today, yesterday, when you're seeing this, I sort of it's weird because it didn't technically happen this way, but like technically I sort of got laid off from my job at the museum. So if you did not know, I'm currently in graduate school and I still get my stipend from being a TA teaching a class here at the school. But generally that's not really enough to cover all of the bills pretty much. So I worked about 10 or so hours at the museum that we have on campus, 10 hours a week or so. And between those two, I wasn't making a ton of money, but I made, definitely enough to get by. But because of COVID, basically, the summer, the museum had to be closed for a little bit, for about a month and a half to 2 months, I think. And actually, that was just the summer. They were closed for like the semester, in like the middle of March as well. So they that's like the big tourist time because I'm in South Dakota. So it's not like there's a ton of people around, but a lot of people tend to come in during the summer when they're going to see things like Mount Rushmore or Badlands National Park, which are pretty close by. So they stop into the museum and will donate money or buy things from the gift shop, which is the main source of our money that basically carries the museum through the rest of the year. So because they didn't really have that revenue stream this year, my boss, the museum manager, preferentially hired federal work study students because that doesn't come out of their budget. That's like money that's set aside specifically for that. So that doesn't come out of the museum budget at all. And I'm totally fine with it. Like whatever it takes to keep the museum, going, I'm absolutely for, but it just sucks for me that I now no longer have that job. So I sort of poked around and looked at some other jobs in town, and for South Dakota, it is the second biggest city in the whole state, but it's still a rather small city. And pretty much the only places that were hiring significantly right now were Walmart, which I'll talk about later, GameStop, which I've heard very mixed things about working there. And that was pretty much it for things that I am able to do, because I'm still taking classes, There were a couple other part-time things, but it's things that don't there was a part-time security guard position, funnily enough, which I just don't want to do. That's not the kind of work that I want to be involved in. But with the most plausible one basically seemed like Walmart. And my roommate actually had worked at Walmart in the past, and I really don't want to work at Walmart, not because there's anything wrong with working at Walmart, mostly that it's just like a front lines type, job. And South Dakota right now, especially my area of South Dakota, has a really high... We're going up very quickly with COVID numbers. Because if you live in the U.S. and you heard about a big biker rally in South Dakota, that was about 20 minutes from where I live. So 250,000 extra people from around the country came to my town, more or less, and completely destroyed us with COVID. So we're seeing the effects of that now because it's been about 3 weeks since that happened. And with Walmart, even with it being a pretty small city, there's still well over 1,000 people a day, I'm sure, going in and out of that Walmart. And that's just not a situation that I want to put myself in. Plus, also, I really don't like Walmart as an organization, but whatever. So basically, that just leaves GameStop. And like I said, I've heard some really mixed things about working there. And all things considered, for being in college, my schedule is actually very conducive to working an outside job because I only have classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Monday and Friday and the weekends, I technically have off, even though I still need to do all of my thesis and research things, that don't come in class time. Those are things I need to do on my own time. So basically my question for my other creator type people, as well as you guys, is do you think Patreon is worth it? Because I do technically have a Patreon. And I used to plug it at the end of every video until about March or so. Mostly because at the time, that was when COVID was really starting to ramp up here. And I didn't feel right asking people to give me their money. When there are, they probably needed it more than I do because I had a pretty decent job last semester. And, if you're going to give it to me, I'm sure that there was an organization, like a nonprofit thing, that would have used it a lot better than I would have. So that was my rationale, and then I stopped plugging it and linking it in the description of my videos. But so for my friends and creators who do have Patreon, is that worth it? And then more importantly, probably, is would you all be interested, my viewers now, would you all be interested in a Patreon, or what kinds of things would you like to see in it? Because I was never super, I didn't do a ton with it. I had things on it, but I didn't have the actual, things set up, really. I think there was a Discord as, the lowest perk on there was, you can join the Discord. But I don't actually know how to set up a Discord, which is something that I'm sure that I will need to learn how to do that eventually. But, yeah. So, as well as a couple other things. But I pretty much, if I'm going to restart it, I kind of want to do the whole thing from scratch, just to sort of start fresh. So that's my question for y'all, is is that something that you think would be cool, or would be good to do, or something that you would actually support? And I want you to be completely honest. Don't just say, "Oh yeah, I'd totally do it," if you would not be, if you would not sign up for it, because not that YouTube and content creation is going to be my main source of income basically ever. We're getting almost sort of close to being able to monetize the channel. It gets a little tricky in that, so basically, if you're not aware, so YouTube's monetization criteria basically are 1,000 subscribers, which we're getting close to. I feel like if I was more actively doing things like streaming and being more active in a couple of Discords that I'm in, I probably could get to 1,000 subscribers relatively soon. But the kicker, the harder one, is to get 4,000 watch time hours over the last 12 months, which I technically do have. Although that comes with a very big asterisk, in that if you remove the month of March, I'm only at 200 or 2,000 or so. The month of March was crazy for this channel because all of my most viewed videos are from March, because that's when I started doing my mystery dungeon stuff. And I'm pretty sure even if you just exclude my most viewed video, which was, I'll probably throw the thumbnail somewhere up in the corner, but basically which starter is best in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. I'm pretty sure if you solely take away just that video, I would go below YouTube's threshold. So that's sort of my question to you, is that do you think it would be genuinely worth for me to push this channel to get monetized and try to make any form of money from it? Or, because it would not be my primary source of income. My primary source of income would be still doing my teaching job. But do you think that would be worth, or do you think I should genuinely look for a job in town? Which would probably mean less content for the channel, realistically. So I don't know. I like to be open and pretty candid with my viewers about this kind of thing. So hopefully you appreciate that and will give me like your genuine feedback. And like I said, if you would not be willing to or are not able, because obviously we're still in a pretty steep recession, if you would not be like willing and or able to support me on Patreon, straight up tell me that. Like I will not be offended at all. There are other creators who are way more deserving of your money than I am, let alone nonprofits and different other organizations that help people on a much bigger scale than I ever could with money. But yeah, so that's basically where I'm at, where it's either based on responses to this video, either content's going to go up a lot on the channel, or content's probably going to take a bit of a downturn on the channel, if I have to get an outside job. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Like I said, not really a fun or exciting video that I really wanted to make, even though I do have quite a few really good videos coming out in the near future, so do keep an eye out for those. Make sure, like I said at the beginning, to follow me on Twitter at pallet_u to keep up on all things Pokemon science. And if you wanted to talk more directly than in the comment section, although that does help videos, so probably the best place to do it, but feel free to DM me on Twitter if you have, especially if my creator pals, DM me on Twitter or Discord or something. And if you have any like personal suggestions about how you do your Patreon, how you do different things that you do for monetizing your online presence, pretty much really any advice, positive or negative, would be very helpful to me at this point. Yeah, I don't really know how to end off this video, but like I said, follow me on Twitter at pallet_to keep up on all things Pokemon science. And as always, there's a time and place for everything.